I'm Roman. I play guitar.
I'm Brandon Stamper. I sing and I also play bass. When we first started and everything, like we go to the same school and we were just like, let's start something, to get our minds off of things, just kind of give us something to do. And so we just kind of cleared out Brandon Wilson's shed and we just started jamming out in there, and it was just like, it was fun. But once we got into the whole playing shows and stuff, we really started realizing that, we weren't the only ones that are part of our pilot roster. God's also a part of it too.
Yep.
And so we were like, you know what, like we need to take this seriously, just like everything else we do in ministry. And so
it's pretty cool to like the people we've met through the band that we wouldn't have ever met around Stockton.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about like a while ago, is the fact that we also have ministries outside of pilot roster, but pilot roster reaches to people that those other ministries couldn't reach.
Yeah.
And so we've grown to love this ministry, and we're glad that God is a part of it. He's a part of everything that we put for Him. We formed in November, which was about how many months ago?
I don't know. We started
November of 2010.
Yeah, no, we started playing shows in November, December, but we actually started in like 9 months ago.
Yeah. It's kind of funny the way we started. I'm actually from Michigan, and I came down here for school, and I met Roman, Brandon Wilson, because they went to the school here. And later on, we were just kind of, jamming out, writing some stuff, and Chris Koss, who is our drummer, just got back into town from Florida, and we were like, hey dude, you should, try and drum with us, dude. Let's jam out. And it kind of just clicked. We all just kind of, came together. Before I came into Stockton, California, and met Roman, Brandon, and Chris, I was in a band called Heaven's Backyard. It was more of an experimental band. We had a lot of musical build-ups and whatnot. And so I was more into the softer kind of music, and these guys like Roman and Brandon were more into the...
We like harder stuff.
Harder stuff.
Generally, but just more underground stuff as opposed to the mainstream stuff.
Yeah, so me and Chris were more into like, Death Cab for Cutie, like the Angels There was more softer stuff. And so our Roman and Brandon, me and Chris, our like musical taste kind of went together, and it's what we formed Pilot Roster. We like none of our songs, what we really try to do is make them so they don't sound the same. Like you get a different taste for every song you listen to.
Someone will write a song in their own style, and everybody will put their own into it, and by the end it sounds completely different. Like all of us kind of put our thing into it.
Usually what happens is like we all live in the dorms here, and I'll come down to Brandon's room and he'll just kind of fiddle on the guitar while I show him the lyrics that I wrote. And that's what I really like about Pilot Roster, is the fact that we take our lyrics really seriously, and a lot of them are really poetical poems that I've written, and we turn them into songs, and it's just about like our everyday life, and they really mean a lot. That's why we put a lot of emotion. The first song that we ever made is called Letters. It was actually going to be called Letters from Tomorrow, but some of the people thought that sounded kind of dumb.
It did.
So we recorded it. So we called it Letters, and basically the song pretty much talks about everyday life. It talks about how there's going to be times in life where every day the world gets worse and worse, and we really can't do anything about it except just stay faithful to God. He'll stay faithful to us, and it's pretty much the song just talking about the solid relationship that you can have with Jesus Christ. And
yep.
That was the first song we wrote, and then we kind of branched into our EP it's called Sirens, and that was the second song we wrote. It's called Sirens, and the whole CD just basically talks, like, our theme for it was a whole bunch of, like, just battling with stuff in your mind, you know, like, you know, those times where you have, like, nightmares or things that basically you come in contact with that can overtake you. But the sirens is basically, like, the mythical Greek mythology creatures that live in the water that call you into the water. And, like, we use that symbolism to show that there's going to be things in your life that call you and try to pull you in, but it's what are you going to do in that moment? It's like, what are you going to turn to? And that's kind of like the whole theme of our name, Pilot Roster, is like, what are you going to let guide your life? You got to choose a pilot.
So our drummer just recently moved away, so we're kind of on a hiatus for a while. We just did our last acoustic show a couple nights ago, and so we're going to take the summer to kind of write individually, grow musically, spiritually, and then come back together maybe for Youth Congress, God willing, if not, something else. But for now, we're still a band, just not doing shows.
I'm going back to Michigan, like where I'm from, and I'm probably going to help out my church there and just, you know, be there for them and be a leader and help out anywhere I can in ministry. I know Roman's staying in Stockton, and he's going to keep up to his life here. Brandon's going on tour with our school. They go across, like, America, you know, and
I believe Brandon's going to the East Coast.
He's going to the East Coast. Chris currently is in Florida, so we're all kind of branching out in different parts of the map.
Well, I'm staying here, but it kind of looks like a branching out because we're all going to be everywhere.
Yeah, because I'm going to be here, Chris is going to be here, Brandon's going to be this, and then Roman's going to be over here, yeah. So, you know, we're kind of branching off for the summer, and
it'll be good when we get back together and have a lot of stuff to bring together again. Because we'll all be writing our own stuff individually.
It'll be fresh. So, fresh
like Subway.
So, like we were saying, you know, we're kind of branching off for a while, but we just recorded a new song today. It's called Standing Before Atlantis, and it's just, we're not going to give up on it. It's still our ministry.
Just keep us in your prayers.
Praying's good.
Pray about our ministry. This is our ministry. We want to go as far as God wants us to go, but no farther. If He wants us to do something else, whatever He wants.
But these 4 new songs that we recently recorded, you guys are going to be able to check them out on iTunes and on our Facebook. Yep. And you guys are going to be able to get them on your iPod and check them out and just tell us what you think. You know, we just want to be chill and just tell us, you know, say hi to us. We want to say hi to you. And so, yeah, we're Pilot Roster.
Into the gray I go. You know the way I found myself here once before. But here I am. Can you hear?
They were amazing. The best band that night. That's not our demo.
You know, fortunately, I liked the band. The guitar player was really cocky, really.
No, the bass player thinks he could sing and play bass at the same time, so he's cocky.
'Cause we are yours.
Is this just another thing I have to let go? It's cool. Brandon kind of wrote this song based on something I was going through, so it's pretty cool. I like it.